April 4th, 1943. The skies over Libya roar with the engines of a B-24 Liberator. Its name? The Lady Be Good? Its mission? Top secret. Its fate? A mystery that would baffle the world for decades. Full of hope and courage, 9 young airmen vanished into the vast Sahara. Their disappearance sparked one of World War II's most perplexing enigmas. 16 years later, a glint in the desert sun revealed a chilling discovery. What followed was a tale of survival against impossible odds, of hope in the face of despair, and of an unforgiving landscape that held its secrets close. Tonight, we unravel the haunting story of the Lady Be Good and her crew's final, desperate journey. Thanks for watching Rare Data TV. We're so close to 600 subscribers. Help us hit 1,000 and you could win $50. Like, subscribe, and tap the notification bell. Your support fuels these untold stories. Next time, another mystery awaits. North Africa, 1943. The tides of World War II were shifting. Allied forces had just expelled Rommel's Afrika Korps from Libya, transforming the region into a crucial staging ground for strikes against Axis-held Europe. In this theater of war, a freshly minted B-24 Liberator crew arrived at Salak Airfield. Led by 24-year-old Lieutenant William Hatton, these 9 men were about to embark on their first combat mission. Hatton, a quiet but determined leader, had the weight of his crew's safety on his shoulders. Each of his men had their own mix of nerves and excitement, driven by a sense of duty, yet keenly aware of the risks that lay ahead. Their target, the port of Naples, a vital supply line for German forces in Italy. As dawn broke on April 4th, the crew of the Lady Be Good received their final briefing. The stakes were high. Success could hasten the fall of Mussolini's regime. Hatton and his men climbed aboard their gleaming bomber, their hearts heavy with a mix of anticipation and trepidation. Little did they know, this mission would etch their names into the annals of wartime mystery. As dusk settled over Salak Airstrip, the Lady Be Good's engines roared to life. Despite ominous weather reports, Lieutenant Hatton and his crew were determined to prove their mettle. The B-24 lumbered down the runway, heavy with fuel and bombs, before climbing into the darkening sky. The hum of the engines seemed to fade into the vastness of the night. Hours into the mission, storm clouds swallowed the bomber. Navigation became a nightmare. Radio communications, their lifeline to base, grew increasingly garbled before fading entirely. Trapped in a swirling sea of darkness, the crew pressed on, each man clutching the hope that they would complete their mission and return to base. But Naples remained elusive. Low on fuel and disoriented, Hatton made the fateful decision to turn back. As they flew south, the crew's confidence drained away. Their radio calls were met with eerie silence. The familiar coastline of Libya never materialized. Unbeknownst to them, they had overshot their base by hundreds of miles, flying deep into the merciless Sahara. As fuel gauges ticked toward empty, Hatton's hands trembled on the controls. The Lady Be Good's crew, believing they were over the Mediterranean, faced a grim choice: ditch in the sea or bailout. Lieutenant Hatton gave the order to abandon the ship. One by one, they leaped into the ink-black night, parachutes billowing above them. The icy wind whipped past, each man isolated in his own bubble of fear and uncertainty. Their hearts pounded in the silence as they fell, bracing for the splash of cold seawater. But instead of splashing into waves, their feet met solid ground. The shocking realization dawned. They were deep in the desert. Sand crunched beneath their boots, and the cruel heat of the day would soon replace the cold of night. As dawn broke, the crew found themselves scattered across the Calancio Sand Sea, one of Earth's most unforgiving landscapes. Endless dunes stretched to the horizon, with nothing but an expanse of deadly beauty before them. No water, no shelter, no signs of life. The Lady Be Good, on autopilot, continued its lonely journey, crash landing 16 miles away, a cruel twist of fate that would haunt the survivors. Dawn revealed a nightmare landscape to the scattered airmen. Shouting hoarsely, 8 of the 9 crew members eventually found each other. Staff Sergeant Vernon Moore was missing, his fate unknown, adding a fresh wave of despair to the group's already fragile state. With only a single canteen of water between them, the men faced the harsh reality of the Sahara. The merciless sun beat down on them as temperatures soared past 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Their flight suits, designed for high-altitude cold, now trapped sweat and heat, adding to their misery. Attempts to find water proved futile. The few cacti they encountered offered no relief, their flesh too tough to breach. As hours stretched into days, the men grew desperate, chewing on leaves and buttons in a futile attempt to stave off thirst. They trudged onward, eyes searching the horizon, clinging to the hope of rescue, even as their strength drained with each passing step. Nights brought bitter cold, forcing the crew to huddle together for warmth. Exhaustion, dehydration, and hallucinations set in. Their only hope lay in an agonizing march north, towards what they prayed was salvation. Among the few items recovered was Technical Sergeant Robert Toner's journal, offering a heartbreaking glimpse into the crew's final days. His entries, penned with a fading hand, chronicled their descent into despair. At first, Toner's words reflected a flicker of hope. The men stayed together, supporting one another as they moved northward, driven by a belief that they would be rescued. His entries revealed their determination, even in the face of dwindling supplies. But as the days passed, Toner's handwriting grew shaky. His words mirrored the crew's physical decline. He wrote of the punishing heat, their bodies growing weaker, and the despair creeping in as their hope of salvation faded. In the final entries, Toner's words became fragmented, nearly illegible. He described men too weak to continue, their wills broken by the unrelenting desert. His last words spoke of camaraderie, how, even in their darkest moments, they held on to each other for comfort. In 1960, nearly 2 decades after the Lady Be Good vanished, the desert began revealing its secrets. Oil workers venturing deep into the Sahara stumbled upon human remains. Dog tags identified them as crew members of the long-lost bomber. This discovery sparked a series of search operations. Over the next few years, teams scoured the vast desert expanse. Their efforts gradually pieced together the crew's final, desperate journey. 5 bodies were eventually recovered, including Toner's. Each discovery told part of their tragic story. Some of the men had walked over 80 miles from the crash site before succumbing to the elements. The searches provided closure for some families, though others were left with lingering questions. 4 crew members, including Staff Sergeant Moore, were never found, their fates entwined with the unforgiving Sahara. The legacy of the Lady Be Good is one of bravery, endurance, and the unshakable mysteries that still linger in the fog of war. It is a tale that reminds us of the incredible sacrifices made in one of history's darkest chapters, and of the human spirit's will to survive against impossible odds. If you found this story as haunting and captivating as we did, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and join us for more incredible tales of history, survival, and mystery. And remember, what other secrets lie hidden, waiting to be uncovered?